Welcome to The Hook. I'm Aaron Castro, your host for MLR News and Notes preseason. I think it's week 13, week 14, something like that. But we're 2 weeks out from the Major League Rugby season, guys and ladies. Great ball. Love this ball. I guess they're trying to figure out how to kick it because it's just a little bit different. But when it comes to gripping it, my small hands, they can grip it. So let's get into the big news. So Kurt Marath, Tongan international, former San Diego Breaker, moonlighter on the on-back team. Only one game this year for the PRP. He was on one roster and I didn't even see him play. So wondered what was that up. He's been on the beach. Apparently he is signing with the Utah Warriors, so he should be there in the next week or so. That's going to be very important. Get him into the squad so that he can gel. Should help with their goal kicking at fly half, or he's just going to be a squad player. I'm not sure, but a lot of people seem to be very high on him. He's played for Tonga at a very high level. Dolph Botha and Lance Lampert, two South African players. Dolph was a Super Rugby and Currie Cup player for the Free State Cheetahs, and Lance Lampert was a Sharks Academy guy, and he did very well in the age grade system. He's only like 20 years old, might be 19, not exactly sure, but he was a necessary addition at lock, needed for San Diego, and Dolph was a very necessary addition at prop for San Diego Legion as well. But let's get into the game. So, Utah hosted the Ontario Arrows. The Arrows are looking to, make the jump and become an MLR side next season. And they showed why. So they are 1-1 now after that victory on Friday night. And their front row talent, they've got Canadian internationals and their locks, their front row, and a bunch of rep side players in the back line. Very experienced squad, very good squad overall. So really, they dominated in the front in the scrum. It was pretty obvious. I sort of thought that the way that match was going to go was Utah had made a bunch of changes up front and overall in the pack that I thought would possibly work out for them, and they didn't. They were evaluating new players and new positions, and it didn't help at all. But Utah was getting butt beat pretty bad in the first half, and you had 17-3 in the first half. Ended up being Utah's only points were on a penalty kick from Jared Whippy, which was extremely needed. The way the surface was playing, it was very wet. It was hard to get good footing, and it was just, you thought it was going to be a kick fest because both teams had two kicks and missed a kick each early on, and the Ontario offense just wasn't clicking until about 15 minutes in. They get their first try, boom. Pretty awesome by Mike Shepard, and then at 27 minutes you've got a try by Mitch Richardson, which is pretty awesome. In the second half, I don't know what the assistant coaches said to Utah, but they figured out that they weren't going to be able to go toe to toe with the scrum of the Ontario Arrows. So they attempted to establish parity and just play the ball really wide. Using their centers, Lasike, Vainikolo, and, Vainikolo is really a back row playing the wing, and then you have their other center, Pakisonasiafu, out there just getting after it, and after the yellow card to Rob Brewer, it seemed that the Canadian Arrows didn't want to tackle those guys, all right? And Utah's able to score, 2 tries while Brewer is off the pitch. They're able to score a third as well. However, the defense for the Arrows figured it out and stopped the Warriors from doing much. after their last try. And, they were able to get the last try of the match from Pat Linnett off maul. Off a scrum. Pat Linnett picks up the ball and gets it over the line. And their backup fly half, Sean Windsor, is able to put it in through the post to have the lead at 24-20 at that point. Kind of sucks because Utah had possession and were doing pretty decent, except at the end, and you thought they were going to be able to score. But at a ruck, they got rucked over by the Canadian defense. Maybe a little illegal from the side, I don't know. That seems to be a lot of the commentary, but it was just, they got rucked over. And then they kick the ball out, and it's over. Moving on to Austin versus New Orleans. This was a big change for the Austin guys out there. Peter Malcolm is out for the season, tore his ACL last Thursday in training camp. He was cleared to play before that match, before Thursday happened. And so that kind of sucks. But, you have two really amazing tries with the way the offense was working pretty early for Austin. I think they've really got their chip and chase down, and yet the defenses for both teams weren't really settled early, and NOLA was able to score 2 tries, and they made 1 conversion, which put them up at the half 12-10. There wasn't a whole lot of offense when it came to scoring in the second half until about the 56th minute when NOLA first scored. That was also when Austin started making substitutions, so we see really a ton of stuff occur in this match when Austin changed their, just subbed a bunch of dudes on and needed to evaluate them because it seemed the fitness sort of dropped and the defense sort of lacked as New Orleans went on to score 26 unanswered points to earn the victory on the road 38-10. So that was really good for NOLA. Again, they've continued to raise their level, and also really good for Austin because when they traveled to NOLA, it was bad because it was just one-sided. Whereas this was close early on, and then you see that there's some kinks that need to get worked out in the second half so that they can play with all 23 guys. Also saw Peter Wanenberg put the boots on. Looks like that old Springbok is going to be an active player this year. And then we go to San Diego versus Houston at Torero. I really like what they're doing. They've got red posts and black pads for the pitch at Torero. They're going to make it all black and red for the season. It's going to look really nice. They had about 1,600 people out there for the match for their preseason fixture, which was really nice. They've been running out ads on local television. I think they're going to do really well this year for a preseason fixture that I think had limited opportunity to advertise, because if you look at how much lead time Utah and Houston did, they were able to get a lot of people out there and set records with their first preseason fixtures, right? Well, San Diego been a little late to the game when it comes to promotion because they had a strategy and they needed to be where they were, and that was important. So now we're seeing a blitz when it comes to ads, sports media, all that stuff going on in the San Diego market, which is very important. I even, on Earful of Dirt, the podcast I do, we have had Matt Hawkins, the general manager, and Rob Hoadley, the head coach, on, so check those out. They're going to be where they want to be. So in this game, they were pretty good offensively over the Sabercats. The Sabercats took them a while, I think, to figure out what San Diego was trying to do. It was 17-7 going deep into the second half in favor of the Legion. They were able to work well. Lance Lambert and Dolph Botha were needed and good additions for them. Yet you saw in the second half what Houston has been able to build when it comes to their long preseason and the depth of players that they've added throughout that time. You have, this team that sort of towards the end of their preseason, you're questioning, hey, do they have the fitness to keep it up and to stop their errors and play high quality ball? Well, they scored, 26 unanswered points in the second half. So killer instinct, fitness, everything's there. They're ready to go. I think, I had some questions with the way the team was playing. Yet, with how they're playing now, and with how well they'll play when the season starts, I think, they are my preseason number 2 pick for this league in this year, and they have that depth that they built over time to survive the Regulation 9 window if they get a bunch of guys plucked to join the Eagles. So that's very important as well. So I'm Aaron Castro for The Hook. You can catch me at the Strobro on Twitter. Like, subscribe, comment, join the conversation. What do you guys want to hear about over the next 2 weeks as we build up towards the inaugural Major League Rugby season?